Hello, friends, and welcome to a new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today I picked out 3 stories for you, and here's the first. Firstly, she doesn't work here. Secondly, neither do I. But before we begin, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications for new stories every single day. So, my job is office/corporate based in a venue with a number of bars, restaurants, entertainment, and so on. So I'm usually wearing a work shirt, suit jacket, and pants. I'm also late 20s, so with those two combined, and if I'm having a good day, I've been told that I can look quite authoritative. After I'd finished work the other day, I needed to pick some things up before heading home, so I went over the road to a nearby supermarket before heading home. As I'm walking down the aisle, I hear a woman slowly getting louder in the next aisle. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, turn around when I'm talking to you. As I turn into the aisle, I see a woman who looked to be in her 40s, CB for crazy B word, reach out and grab a younger woman in her 20s, YW, by the shoulder, forcibly spin her around and yank the earbud she was listening to out by the cord. The uniform here is a dark gray button-up shirt with some white on it. YW is wearing a lighter shade of gray. CB, how effing dare you ignore me? How GD hard is it to get the attention of you damn millennials? YW, obviously confused, scared, wondering WTF is going on. There's a crazy person yelling at her. What? Sorry? I didn't hear you. What did you... CB, cutting her off. Because you were too busy listening to your music instead of doing your damn job. YW, tries to cut in to say she doesn't work here. CB, doesn't let her get a word in. Now make yourself useful and get me some obscure pasta product. YW, I don't work here. Very confused look on her face. CB, BS, you're wearing the uniform. Now, are you going to do your job or do I need to get your manager out here? YW, listen, I've already said I don't work here. Can you please leave me alone? Looking in my direction with a please help me look. CB noticed that YW was not looking at her and turned to follow her gaze and saw me. Finally, here's a manager. You're in for it now, missy. Me. OF. CB, marching up to me. Your employee there refuses to help me. She wanders around with those things in her ears instead of doing her job. That little derogatory term deserves to be fired. Apparently to her, short hair/pixie cut equals lesbian? Me. Crap. Sorry, but I don't... CB cut me off. Don't tell me you don't work here. Your name tag is right there, pointing to my chest. Me realizing that I had not taken my staff ID off yet. Wait, this might help me. Okay, ma'am, could you please do me a favor and read everything on my name tag out loud? CB, fine. Lean in to read it. H'er, my title. Business over the road. Oh, you can see the cog start turning in her mind. Me, first, this lady doesn't work here. Secondly, as you've just read, I don't work here either. Thirdly, even if one of us did work here, you have no right to grab somebody like that or yell at them like that or use that kind of disgusting language. CB, but me, cutting her off. I don't care about your reasons. I want you to apologize to us. CB, head down. I'm sorry. Then made a hasty exit. Me turning to YW. Are you okay? Her, smiling now. Yes, thank you so much for that. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there. I'm name, by the way, and she stuck her hand out. Me, shaking her hand. H'er, but you might have figured that out already. YW, haha, yeah, I figured that bit out. Hey, do you think you could stick around a bit? Make sure she doesn't come back? Me, sure thing. I've still got a couple of things I need to get, and you seem like good company. From there, we went on with our shopping together, walking and talking. Turns out we have a few similar interests, like Zelda and Doctor Who. I also came to find out that she was currently out of work, and as luck would have it, my company was recruiting in her area of expertise. We exchanged details, and I gave her my business card, asked her to email me, and said I'd send all the relevant information. She emailed me overnight, Thursday. I sent her the information on Friday morning. In the afternoon, I got another one from her with a print screen of the thank you for submitting your application page, saying she'd submitted her application and thanking me for pointing her to it. I swear, seeing how her face lit up when I told her we were looking for people in that area made my day. And our second story. Just because I work in the same building doesn't make me your butler or your caretaker. I work for a hospital in the UK, under the NHS, for the transport department. This means patients have the luxury of getting a lift to and from the hospital for their appointment if they wish. Let me just clarify that to highlight how infuriating this incident is, when you have an appointment at the hospital I work for, you can book a lift with an ambulance/car to get you there, free of charge. Just ring and book and you get door-to-door service, even if you need to be carried out of your house at the taxpayer's expense. When you need to go home after your appointment, just come to the transport desk and we book you ready to start the process of getting you home. We tell people this takes up to an hour because our vehicles are always on the move and we need time to plan runs. Most people say, okay, thanks, and sit down, but too many don't. Which brings me to yesterday. A gentleman came to the desk and just stood there. I greeted him and asked if he was going home, and he didn't respond. He wasn't particularly old and didn't look in a bad way, but I asked again louder, as I know some patients struggle with their hearing. He glared at me and nodded. I asked for his postcode, zip code, so I could find his booking. Again, no response. So again, I asked louder. Eventually, he just gave me the last 3 digits, which is no good. I need the area. After more time asking different ways and mainly just being glared at, I finally got his postcode. Once I'd booked him ready, I asked him to take a seat. He asked how long it'd take. I told him it could take up to an hour. Might be 5 minutes, might be 60. Anyone would have thought I'd told him a month. An hour? I've been here 4 hours already. He'd been having treatment on a ward. Free treatment, I'd just like to mention, and I could see from the time that we dropped him off, he'd only actually been here 2 hours, but I decided not to mention that. I just apologized and said that's how long it takes. He huffed and puffed and gave me a list of reasons why he needed to leave immediately. I told him it was impossible to get him away immediately, but that he was welcome to make his own way if he pleased. He gave in and sat down for about 3 minutes. He came back to the desk and demanded a cup of tea and a sandwich. Some of the wards do give these out if a patient is there a long time, but it's not something we offer. However, there are plenty of places a patient can buy something. I told him this. I even offered to take his money and go get it for him. He said, "I'm not paying for anything. You should have food for patients." This was just the beginning. Despite walking into the lounge unassisted, he demanded I take him to the toilet in a wheelchair. Then he demanded we change the TV channel to what he wanted. Eventually, his vehicle arrived after about 40 minutes, and he was traveling with another old couple. He didn't like that either, tried demanding his own vehicle. At this point, I lost it a little. "Sir, you either go in this vehicle or you sit back down and wait for another hour for the next one." I was bluffing. I really wanted him gone. He left swearing to put in a complaint about how awful he'd been treated and how he's never experienced such injustices before. Genuinely, injustices. Surprised he didn't pull the "I've paid my taxes all my life, I'm your boss, so you should do what I say" line. And our third story. I swear, I didn't mean to hit her. I've got a couple of stories about being mistaken for an employee, but this is the earliest that I can remember. As a grown woman, I'm shy, anxious, hate confrontation, and try my best to avoid eye contact. I've also always had the habit of flailing and trying to escape when someone touches me unexpectedly. I've accidentally hit many people in the past, mostly family members and a couple of friends. They've all been cool about it, especially because I've always apologized and they've usually been warned beforehand. Plus, I'm not very strong, so my panicky, limp-wristed flailing doesn't usually hurt when it connects. With that said, when I was 12, I was far worse. One day, my mother had injured herself at work, and while she could drive, she had trouble walking. So after school, I was sent to the grocery store for the essentials while she just waited in the car. It was my first time shopping alone. I was nervous as hell and just trying to grab the stuff and get out of there. It's been a while, but I know I was wearing a t-shirt, probably with Snoopy or Tweety Bird on it, jean shorts, Velcro shoes, because that's generally what I wore at the time, while I reached my full height of 5'9" and was probably 5'5" or so at the time. I was very still obviously a kid. On the way to the milk, I ducked down an aisle to avoid a group coming my way and noticed a display of old-fashioned cream soda sold in individual bottles. I'd been given permission to get something for myself, and I loved these sodas, but they were hard to find, so I was definitely getting some. As I was loading up my basket, I heard someone behind me clear their throat. Thinking I was blocking the path, I didn't look back at them, just moved closer to the shelf. Then I heard an aggressive-sounding, "Excuse me." So I stepped to the side, thinking I was blocking what this person wanted, and reached up high for one more soda on the top shelf. That's when I felt a hand clamp down on my shoulder, gripping tightly as long nails dug in hard. The woman yanked me around while yelling something to the effect of, "Get me the damn insert item here, now, you lazy, worthless little..." That's when I let out a terrified yelp, stumbled back, and flailed at her with my left hand, the hand that was holding a heavy glass bottle of soda. I can still remember the dull clank it made as it collided with that woman's head. She let me go. I don't know what her response was, because I dropped the shopping basket and ran away, crying hysterically. Not my proudest moment. I ran out, jumped in the car, and begged my mother to just go. She did. I think she assumed I'd had a panic attack or something, but thankfully she didn't question it at the time. I didn't manage to calm down enough to tell her what happened until we got home. She checked my shoulder and found that the woman's fingernails had actually cut through my shirt and torn into my skin. It was surprisingly painful. I don't know if the woman complained about the crazy employee who attacked her, but I do know that the next time my mother went shopping, she came home with lots of coupons. She was a regular. Most employees recognized the chatty, friendly lady and her very quiet daughter who hid behind her. I assume one of the actual employees noticed me run out crying. I've since learned to control my more wild flailing, instead just putting a hand up between me and the other person while cringing away. But even though I thought I was to blame at the time, I now think this lady got what she deserved. If you lay your hands on someone hard enough to draw blood, you deserve to get cracked in the cranium with cream soda. Hey guys, thank you all for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.